Welcome to day 6 of the 31 films of Halloween. If you haven't already, hit the subscribe button to never miss a video. We have daily film content, including film reviews, movie news, and so much more. So go ahead and hit the subscribe button to never miss a video. For day 6, we are talking about a horror film that is criminally underrated, one that came and went and nobody saw, yet test rated through the roof. When you're talking about You're Next, a horror film that I, for the longest time, played off as, or just kind of, shrugged off as a Purge ripoff, another home invasion film. Actually, it was a Strangers ripoff because The Strangers came first, and it was just another, one of those really shitty, home invasion ripoffs. Do we really need another home invasion film that just isn't going to work? And I remember the film came out August or something, so that always kind of makes me horror film in August. I feel like if you release your horror film in August, generally speaking, I feel like it's not a good film, just because I feel like you're dumping it. You're just dumping it in midsummer with all the other summer blockbusters. It's it's garbage, and you're just trying to dispose of it quietly and blame these summer blockbusters for its failure. However, this is one of those times where I was dead ass wrong, and I will eat those words because it took me years, and I mean years, to finally watch this movie, and that is for two reasons. One, because a buddy of mine who was the manager at the movie stop, who I've mentioned a few times, actually told me how great of a movie this was and how it was one of the best home invasion films, and it's just one I had to watch, which I was like, I don't know, man. I'm just it didn't do well at the box office. It was kind of like a come and gone movie. It came out in August, and then, I don't know, maybe a year or two later, I was at a flea market, and I came across for $5. Came across for $5, and I was like, no, I want to spend $5 on this. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to buy it. I had the itch. I had to buy it. So I bought it, and then it sat on my shelf maybe for a few weeks, and then I was like, you know what? I'm going to watch that movie. And I was in the basement looking for movies to watch, and I'm like, you know what? I think I'm going to watch that. And I watched it, and holy moly, Batman. It was such a great movie, and I just knew in that moment I ate my words, and I was just like, how in the hell did I miss this movie? Now, I watched this movie a few times since then, and almost every Halloween, I want to say, since then I've watched it, and it is such a great home invasion film. It takes home invasion and it kind of turns it on its side a little bit and gives us a vision in our version of home invasion films that we haven't seen before. It's pretty much about a family who is going up for a family, not really a reunion, because it's the parents invite all the kids and their spouses up to this house that the father just bought, kind of his retirement, tinker with, kind of on board, I'm going to fix up this old house type thing. It's a real nice lake house, in the middle of nowhere, and while they're at dinner, things start to take a turn, and these people try to break in, and that pretty much gives us a premise of it's his family, and these people in a mask try to break in and kill them. Now, without giving anything away, it's very much a home invasion film, but again, it's something that I never expected from a home invasion film. It had witty dialogue, intense scenes, and just completely not reinvented the genre, but brought something new to the table and gave us something that is remarkable. Now, it's one of those films I just avoided for a long time and never really watched, and yet the minute I watched, I ate those words cold and hard without any milk, like dry ass cereal, because I need to. This is one of those movies that is just so well executed and just so well done that it deserves praise. And I feel like, again, there's a story behind why it got released in in August. Originally, it was supposed to be released in October. It was co-produced or co-financed by a smaller production company, which was absorbed by another production company, the same production company which was financing, or same finance company that financed Sinister. Now, that's the Scott Derrickson film, co-written by Scott Derrickson and C. Robert Cargill. And I know this because I listened to their So You Got Cargill's podcast, Junk Food Cinema, and he actually talked about this story on the podcast. He's telling me how it got absorbed, and Sinister and You're Next both were supposed to be released in October, but You're Next had such great test screenings that they moved up to August because they didn't want two films competing against one another from the same company in the same 2 weekends or whatever in October, because it was going to hinder the sales for both films. So they moved up You're Next to August, and it completely bombed. Not because it was bad, just because it was an August release date. They thought it was going to be able to hold its own in a August release, but they were wrong, because any horror movie that gets released in August, you're pretty much telling your audience that you're trying to dump it. And that's generally what they do, is they'll try to dump it in either August or like January and just blame it on the timing to why the movie just underperformed when really it was garbage. But this is one of those situations where You're Next is not a garbage film at all. It's a silent sleeper, and one that hasn't yet got the cult status that I think it not only deserves, but at one point in time it will get, and people look back on that film a lot more fondly. And not because, again, it was bad or just didn't work when it was first released, but because nobody saw it. So it's going to get that cult status, and it's going to have that iconic cult status in years to come. And I think people are going to look back and realize that they slept on this film. And I definitely was one of them, and I admit that. With that being said, I have to recommend You're Next for your October lineup. Have you seen the film? What are your thoughts? Comment below, let me know. And we're going to add another question to today's video. What is your favorite home invasion film? Comment below, let me know.